So I have seen a lot of videos about believers preparing for the times ahead, mostly the abroad, and one particular lady in South Africa, and they said God instructed them to prepare, which I don't doubt, by the way. Like, there's a lot going on in the world, like currently, and you would be foolish. You would be a foolish virgin not to be prepared. Like, you just gotta be. But I have a question, like how much can one really be prepared in, like, storing food? Because I genuinely wonder, and this thought has been in my mind lately, like, how much food and water can one really store up? And don't get me wrong, like, I've seen some really amazing videos from a lot of preppers, and it's beautiful. But bringing it back home here, how many people can really stockpile food items for like 90 days when a lot of people live from hand to mouth? Let me know your thoughts.
Now, the truth is this: the system of the world has been created to keep majority of the people in survival mode, feeding from month to month, from hand to mouth, as a way of making sure that they do not exit the metric system, they do not exit the grid, which will make it very difficult when the time of the beast come, when the time to take the mark comes. It will be very easy for many people to cave in and take the mark. The focus of everyone moving into 2030 should be moving off grid. Now, when we talk about food storage, it is not about just keeping bags of rice in the house. Okay, remember these things can get bad within a year, some months it can get bad. So, having a little farm around can be helpful. You can grow your own potatoes in just bags of sand. You can grow your own potatoes. You can have a little garden where you can grow things like pepper, onion, and so on. That will be much more efficient than trying to store up. Okay, you also need your own electricity, and you don't need to go for the big solar panel systems that cost a lot. You can just get generators that can keep you going for days. You can have your own borehole instead of depending on buying water bottles. That is more sustainable. Then when we talk about storing food, the most efficient way to store food, and I'll use stockfish as a typical example. This is the most practical way of efficiently storing up food, which is drying them. Okay, when this is kept in the right condition without insects having access, or moist environment, this can be stored for many years without the use of chemicals compared to other forms of storage. And so freeze drying is one of the recommended method of preserving food for a very long time without the use of preservatives, and it will retain the nutrients in the food, and this can also be converted into powder form. So if this could be expensive for you, remember in these last days it is not recommended to work alone. You can partner with other individuals and build up storing system for yourself. Okay, these are fruits. There are freeze dryers of personal use and those of industrial scale. Okay, and this is just a typical example. This is cooked chicken being freeze dried, and it is still edible after a long time. So you also see crops. You can take things straight out of the farm, freeze dry them, and it can last a very long time. The church needs to come together. Like I said, people can partner and build up a system, probably at the industrial scale, that can help the body of Christ to stay afloat and not get pressured during that time. This is also cooked food. It gets freeze dried, and it can last and be used on road. So you can store them up in Milo bags, and it will go a very, very long time without getting bad compared to things that are stored using chemicals. The same applies to fruits. You can have dry fruits get stored, and it will retain the taste, it will retain the nutrients. So rather than hoping to store up few bags of rice, you can go this route, okay, which is self-sustaining. This can go a long time without you needing to buy things from the market, or putting you in pressure of taking the mark. You can just go this route, growing your own food, no matter how little the farm is. You know, you can grow your own potato, your own tomato, your own peppers, your own onions. That's why we say get your farm now while you still have access to cash. Keep in mind, this is just for a short time, 3.5 years plus. The only time that you'll be worried about going to the store and piling up food stuff is when it becomes obvious the government is asking for the people to get registered or to take the mark, when they begin to implement or enforce the law. So all you need is having a self-sufficient system that is disconnected from the government, disconnected from the grid, AI proof, that is around the basic things of life, which is your electricity. Like I said, you can get a solar panel system that is not really expensive, a solar generator that is enough to power up your refrigerator, your light bulbs. You can have your own water system, which is your borehole. So instead of stockpiling water bottles, which will get bad, you have your own water supply directly from the earth. And then you have your way of storing food from your little farmland, okay? And then as a means to make money, you can raise birds, having your own poultry, and then you sell the eggs. During that time, you can determine what you receive in exchange of the eggs. I strongly believe that freeze drying and heat drying was the method Joseph used to store up those crops, during his days, which ended up saving the entire nation. Remember, this lasted for a long time.
Easily, one of the best food storage purchases we made was in 2016. It was a Harvest Right freeze dryer. First, the benefits of freeze drying. You get a 15 to 25-year shelf life on the food, but really it's more like 30 years because of the extremely low moisture content, as long as you store it correctly. And when items are freeze dried, you're retaining 97% of the nutritional content. So how does it work? The first step in freeze drying is to rapidly freeze the food. We found that throwing in food directly from our freezer makes the process a lot faster. After the product is completely frozen, the vacuum process begins. The vacuum process lowers the pressure, then by slightly increasing the temperature, the frozen water in the product sublimates, meaning it transitions directly from solid ice to water vapor without going through a liquid phase. The secondary drying phase aims to remove the unfrozen water molecules. Then you package it up in an oxygen-proof package and maybe throw in some oxygen absorbers, and you're all set.